In the diagram below, EK is equal to KF and EL is equal to LG. EM is equal to 12 and KP is equal to 5. Determine the length of EP and FM. Let's start with part A. Determine the length of EP. Now, the question tells us that EK is equal to KF and that EL is equal to LG. And we can see this on our diagram as well. So let's make the whole of triangle EFG red. Now we can make some statements. So we can say, in triangle EFG, we know that EK is equal to KF. The question gives us this information, so we use given as our reason. We also know that EL is equal to LG. And again, we can use given as our reason. We know that according to the midpoint theorem, if K is the midpoint of EF and L is the midpoint of EG, then KL is parallel to the third side of the triangle FG. So now we can make the statement that KL is parallel to FG. And as our reason, we use the midpoint theorem. Let's put an arrow on KL and an arrow on FG to show that these sides are parallel. Now we can make our diagram black again, and we can make some space. We know that KPL and FMG are straight lines. So let's make a note of this over here. This means that KP must be parallel to FM because the whole line KL is parallel to FG. So let's move our blue arrow on line KL to the section on KP, and we can move our other blue arrow on FG to the section on FM. The question is asking us to find the length of EP. EP lies on the longer line EM, which is the side of the triangle EFM. So let's make this triangle red. Now we can make our statements. We can say, in triangle EFM, we know that EK is equal to KF because this has been given to us in the diagram. We also just found that KP is parallel to FM. We've already proven this, so as our reason, we say proven above. Now, according to the Converse midpoint theorem, the line drawn to the midpoint of one side of a triangle parallel to another bisects the third. We know that K is the midpoint of EF, and we know that KP is parallel to FM, which means that P must be the midpoint of EM. So we can see that EP must be equal to PM. And as our reason, we use the Converse midpoint theorem. On our diagram, let's put 3 lines on EP and 3 lines on PM to show that they are equal. We can use this to find the length of EP. So let's make some space. We know that EM is 12 centimeters. So we can make the statement that EM is equal to 12 centimeters. And this has been given to us in the question. P is the midpoint of EM, which means that not only is EP equal to PM, but EP must be half the length of EM. So we can now say EP is equal to half the length of EM, which is 12. So EP is equal to 6 centimeters. And now we can move on to part B. Determine the length of FM. FM is one side of triangle EFM. So let's make this triangle red. Now we can say in triangle EFM, we know that EK is equal to KF because this has been given to us. We've also just found that P is the midpoint of EM. So we know that EP is the same length as PM. We don't need to prove this again. So as our reason, we say proven above. According to the midpoint theorem, if a line bisects two sides of a triangle, it runs parallel to the third side and is half the length. This means that KP is half the length of FM. And as our reason, we use midpoint theorem. If KP is half the length of FM, then FM is twice the length of KP. And we know that KP is 5 units long because this information has been given to us in the question. And we can use this to find the length of FM. FM is twice the length of KP. So we can say FM is equal to 2 multiplied by 5, which means that FM must be equal to 10 units.